Imagine budgeting for a piece of software that advertises a flat rate of like $39 a month.
Right. Sounds totally reasonable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But then you receive this monthly invoice that just, you know, consistently clears $400.
Ouch. Yeah, which is not a hypothetical scenario at all.
No, not at all. It is the exact mathematical reality for, well, a massive number of e-commerce merchants operating today.
It really completely shatters that illusion of the straightforward subscription model we all expect.
Oh, 100%.
Because we're basically conditioned to expect the sticker price to be the whole truth, right? But in the e-commerce infrastructure space, I mean, that base tier is really just the cover charge to get inside the building.
And the building itself is just full of invisible toll booths.
Literally at every corner.
Yeah. So our mission for this deep dive is to act as your shortcut to understanding the true cost of running a store on this platform. We're decoding a highly detailed 17-minute read titled Shopify Account Pricing, Staff Limits and the Fees Not on the Pricing Page.
It's a great piece. Very eye-opening.
It really is.
Yeah.
The goal here is to move completely past those shiny, simplified pricing grids on the marketing page and dissect the actual line-by-line math you're going to face on a monthly invoice.
Yeah, the real numbers.
Exactly.
Okay.
Let's unpack this, because if you build your annual financial forecasts solely around a headline pricing tier, you are going to experience severe cash flow shock.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating here is that Shopify's pricing page answers one question perfectly, which is what a plan costs as a baseline sticker price.
Right, like the base fee.
Yeah, it tells you basic is $39, Grow is $105, Advance is $399, but it fundamentally underplays the two actual levers that dictate your final bill.
And those are?
Those levers are your operational capacity, specifically your staff limits, and the hidden variable line items that trigger based on your daily activity.
Right.
So the ultimate goal of our discussion today is to give you, the listener, a structural mental checklist. That way you can audit your own setup and forecast your costs accurately.
I think we should start with that first lever, actually, because it triggers a major hidden cost before you even process a single transaction.
Oh, absolutely.
It hits you the exact moment you decide, you know, your business is growing and you need to hire your first employee.
Yeah, the staff seat trap.
Yes, we're talking about the staff seat upgrade trap. According to the source material, the basic plan at $39 a month, shockingly, includes 0 staff logins.
None.
0.
None. Like, only the store owner gets access.
Which is wild. And this is a deliberate architectural choice that catches new merchants completely off guard.
I can imagine.
Because in previous eras of the platform, the entry-level tier actually gave you a small allowance of staff accounts.
Right, like 2 or 3 maybe.
Exactly. But moving into 2026, Basic is strictly ring-fenced for the solo operator. The platform is essentially using headcount as a proxy for business maturity.
Okay, I see.
So the moment you bring on just one person, maybe a part-time virtual assistant to handle customer service tickets, or a freelance bookkeeper, you hit a steep pricing cliff. So to give that single employee a dedicated login, you are forced to jump from the $39 basic plan to the $105 Grow plan.
Yep, you have to.
That is a $66 monthly penalty simply to generate a single extra set of credentials. It's like renting a physical storefront, but the landlord triples your rent the exact second you hire a cashier.
That's a perfect analogy, and it feels completely disconnected from the actual server cost of hosting an extra user, right?
Completely.
Because it is disconnected. It's value-based pricing.
Right.
The assumption is that if you can afford payroll, well, you can afford a higher tier of software.
I guess that makes business sense for them, but still.
But the progression gets much steeper. So the Grow plan, which you just upgraded to, has a hard cap of 5 staff seats.
Okay, 5 seats.
So imagine a lean operation. You have the owner, an operations manager, a marketing lead, and, say, 2 fulfillment staff packing boxes in the back.
That's 5 right there.
That is exactly 5 seats. The very minute you hire a 6th person, say, a dedicated customer retention specialist, you hit the second cliff.
Oh, no.
Yeah. You are forced to jump to the advanced plan at $399 a month.
Ow.
That is a $294 monthly increase simply to provision that 6th login, long before you even need any advanced tier features.
Okay, I have to push back here, because if you are running a lean startup, cash preservation is everything.
Oh, absolutely.
A merchant looking at a nearly $300 monthly penalty for 1 extra employee is simply going to share a password.
Yep, that's the temptation.
Right. Why wouldn't a team just set up a generic admin@mystore.com email, pin the password to the company Slack channel, and avoid this entire fee structure?
Well, because the long-term operational risk vastly outweighs the short-term cash savings.
Oh, so.
It isn't just about, violating the terms of service. It's about data integrity and accountability. If you share a master login, you completely break your security activity log.
Oh, that makes sense.
Imagine a scenario where a high-traffic product collection is accidentally deleted, or a 90% off discount code is erroneously pushed live.
Which happens.
It happens all the time. And if everyone is sharing an account, your audit log just shows admin made the change. You cannot trace the error to a specific team member to retrain them.
Yeah, that's a nightmare.
Furthermore, it creates a massive security vulnerability when an employee leaves.
Right, because if an aggrieved former employee still has the shared password, they have the keys to the entire revenue engine.
Exactly. You are forced to reset the master password, lock everyone out, and securely redistribute it, hoping the former employee doesn't log in and cause damage in the interim.
It's just chaos.
Absolute chaos. But the source material actually points out that you don't need to resort to password sharing because there are legitimate workarounds built right into the ecosystem.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you just have to know how to categorize your users. The most powerful tool here is the collaborator account.
Okay, so how does a collaborator account bypass the staff seat limit?
Well, if you hire an external marketing agency, a freelance web developer, or an accountant, they don't need to burn one of your precious internal staff seats.
Oh, nice.
Provided they are registered as a Shopify partner, they can request access to your store via their own partner dashboard. You approve their request, and they become a collaborator.
And does that cost anything?
Nope. These accounts are completely free, and critically, they are unlimited on every single plan tier.
Okay, that significantly changes the math. If your sixth hire is actually an outside ad agency running your campaigns, you just route them through the partner system and instantly avoid that $294 a month upgrade.
Precisely. And there is a second major workaround if you operate physical retail locations.
Like a brick and mortar store.
Right. Floor staff or cashiers who only need to ring up physical sales do not need admin access. You can issue them POS-only PINs.
POS being point of sale.
Exactly. These allow them to use the POS app to process transactions without ever touching the back-end dashboard. Those accounts are tracked separately and do not count against your main administrative staff limits.
Okay, so ruthless auditing is key.
Always.
Well, once your team is locked in and your staff seats are optimized, the next phase of cost comes from actually succeeding.
Yes, the best part. But also the expensive part.
Right. When the credit card starts swiping, the underlying payment architecture kicks in, and we move from fixed operational caps to variable transaction tolls. Let's look at the baseline first.
Okay.
If you use the platform's native processor, Shopify Payments, you pay a standard rate, around 2.9%, plus a 30-cent flat fee on the basic plan. That is essentially the internet standard.
Very standard, yeah.
But the source details a massive penalty if a merchant decides to use a third-party gateway instead.
This is a really critical friction point. If you bring your own payment gateway, perhaps your existing commercial bank requires you to use their specific processor, or you sell a product in a high-risk category that Shopify Payments won't underwrite, the platform imposes a heavy surcharge.
Just for using outside software.
Yep. They tack on an additional fee on top of whatever your third-party processor is already charging you. On the basic plan, that surcharge is an extra 2.0% on every single transaction.
That is aggressive.
Yeah.
Like, if your external processor charges 2.9% and Shopify adds an extra 2%, you are suddenly giving up nearly 5% of your top-line revenue before you have even paid for inventory, shipping, or marketing.
It is incredibly aggressive by design, and the stealth fees don't stop there.
Of course not.
Even if you stay safely within Shopify Payments, the headline rate of 2.9% only applies to standard domestic credit cards.
Wait, really?
Yeah. If a customer checks out using a premium rewards card or an American Express, the processing fee quietly jumps by an additional 0.5% to cover the higher interchange rates of those specific networks.
Wow.
And if they use a card issued by an international bank, it jumps by a full percent.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. The source material highlights a highly specific variable fee that occurs when a customer returns an item called refund leakage.
Ah, yes. Refund leakage.
When you refund a Shopify Payments order, the platform returns the percentage fee they originally took, but they keep the flat 30-cent transaction fee.
They do.
And I have to challenge the significance of this. I mean, 30 cents is literal pocket change. If a merchant is running a business pulling in hundreds of thousands of dollars, why should they care about losing 3 dimes on a refund?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, you'll see exactly how structural this cost really is.
Okay, lay it out for me.
It all depends on your specific industry. So if you sell large, bespoke furniture, your return rate might be under 1%. In that case, sure, the 30 cents is irrelevant.
Right.
But imagine you are operating a fast fashion apparel brand or selling footwear. In those verticals, a 25 to 30% return rate is standard consumer behavior.
That high?
Oh, yeah. Buyers purposefully order 3 sizes of the same shoe, keep the one that fits, and send 2 back.
Oh, I see. They treat their living room as the fitting room.
Exactly. So if you are processing 10,000 orders a month and 3,000 of those items are coming back, you are bleeding 30 cents on every single one of those returns.
Wow, okay. That adds up.
That pocket change compounds into nearly $1,000 of pure monthly revenue leakage. You are basically paying a penalty for the customer's behavior.
That's brutal.
It is. And this entire structure, the third-party surcharges, the premium card fees, the refund leakage, reveals why Shopify aggressively guards its payment layer.
Because it's so lucrative.
Highly lucrative. It is a deliberate ecosystem lock-in strategy. Processing payments is vastly more profitable than selling $39 software subscriptions. By making external gateways financially ruinous, they ensure the vast majority of transaction volume stays within their own walls.
That makes total sense from a business perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But scaling your domestic operations inevitably forces you to look at overseas markets to maintain growth.
Naturally.
But the moment you start shipping across borders, a completely different fee structure wakes up. Which brings us to international fees. The first friction point is the currency conversion fee.
Right.
If you are a U.S.-based merchant receiving payouts in U.S. dollars and a buyer in France purchases a product displayed in euros, the platform automatically handles that conversion.
Mm-hmm.
But they charge a 1.5% fee on standard plans to do it.
And this is where we see a highly counterintuitive detail from the source. That currency conversion fee actually jumps to 2% if you are on the Enterprise Level Plus plan.
Wait, it goes up on the more expensive plan?
Yeah. You would logically assume that the most expensive $2,300 a month tier would secure the lowest conversion rates.
Obviously.
But because Plus, merchants often negotiate custom foreign exchange terms into their broader corporate contracts, the unnegotiated default rate is intentionally set higher.
That is sneaky.
Very.
But currency conversion is just the baseline toll. The source document dedicates a significant section to a feature called Managed Markets.
Yeah, Managed Markets is a big one. It's an opt-in service where Shopify steps in and legally acts as the merchant of record for your international sales.
Okay.
If you activate this, they charge a massive 3.5% fee per international order, or 3.25% if you are on the Plus plan.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, that is stacked directly on top of your standard credit card processing fees.
So what does this all mean? Because a 3.5% fee per order just to handle international checkout sounds exorbitant.
It does sound like a lot.
Especially since the source material explicitly notes that standard Shopify Markets, which handles basic local currency displays and regional domains, is included for free on every single plan.
True.
If the standard version is free, why on earth would any rational business owner willingly surrender an extra 3.5% of their global margin?
Well, it sounds exorbitant right up until the moment you fully grasp the nightmare of international compliance.
Is it really that bad?
Oh, it's terrible. The vital distinction between the free standard markets and the paid managed markets comes down to who carries the legal exposure. When you use the free version, you, the individual business owner, are the importer of record.
Meaning all the liability lands squarely on my shoulders.
Exactly. If you sell a product to a customer in the European Union using the free standard setup, you are personally responsible for securing an EU IOS number.
Wait, what does IO stand for?
It stands for the Import One-Stop Shop. It's a centralized portal meant to simplify VAT, but securing and managing it still requires immense administrative overhead.
I can only imagine.
You have to calculate the exact local duties for each specific country. You remit foreign taxes to individual European governments on a monthly basis and ensure all the customs paperwork is flawlessly executed before the package leaves your warehouse.
Okay, so if a customs official in, like, Berlin decides the tax classification on a sweater is incorrect, the package gets impounded.
Yep.
The customer never receives it, they demand a refund, and I'm left trying to navigate German customs law from an office in Ohio.
That is the exact scenario that happens. That 3.5% managed markets fee is not just a software cost, it is an insurance policy.
Oh, that makes sense.
By acting as the merchant of record, Shopify assumes the legal liability. They guarantee the landed cost at checkout. They handle the cross-border remittance. They navigate the iOS requirements, and they process the customs paperwork.
So they do the heavy lifting.
All of it. And the source provides a highly practical threshold here. If your store is generating under roughly $500,000 a year in international sales, paying that fee is significantly cheaper than retaining the international tax attorneys, accountants, and logistics specialists required to build and maintain your own cross-border legal stack.
Okay, that completely reframes the cost. It's an outsourced compliance department.
Exactly.
But international fees only impact you if you choose to sell globally. There's another dynamic that drains the operating budget of almost every merchant, regardless of their geography. The source identifies it as the app ecosystem and the ensuing death by 1,000 cuts.
Yes. The app ecosystem is where the disconnect between the platform's sticker price and the merchant's actual operating cost becomes most severe.
I read that the source cites independent benchmarks showing that for an established store generating between $10,000 and $30,000 a month in revenue, third-party apps consume an average of 28% of their total platform spend. We are talking about hundreds of dollars a month, entirely dedicated to plugins.
And the danger here lies in the incremental nature of the commitment. You rarely sign up for $500 worth of apps on the day you launch your store.
Right. Nobody does that.
It begins with the psychological allure of the freemium model.
Oh, it perfectly mirrors the mechanics of predatory mobile games.
Yes. How so?
Well, you download a game for free, but 3 days later you hit an artificial wall and have to pay $2 just to unlock the next level.
Right.
In the e-commerce context, a merchant installs a free email marketing app, a free customer reviews widget, and a free SEO optimizer. The installation friction is zero because there's no upfront cost.
Exactly.
But 6 months down the line, the business scales. The email app decides that automated welcome sequences are a premium feature, moving you to a $20 a month tier.
Yep, it happens every time.
The Reviews app locks the ability for customers to upload photos behind a $25 a month tier. Suddenly, you are held hostage behind a $49 paywall just to export your own historical data.
You've articulated the API lock-in perfectly. Your historical purchase data, your customer segmentation, and your automated workflows are now deeply integrated into that specific app's architecture.
You can't just leave.
Exactly. The switching costs, the time and effort to migrate to a cheaper alternative are so high that merchants simply swallow the monthly price increase. And those monthly subscriptions stack alongside a separate category of microfees the source identifies.
The microfees are particularly stealthy. Like, let's look at chargebacks.
Their chargebacks are brutal.
If a customer disputes a transaction with their bank claiming they didn't authorize the purchase, Shopify charges the merchant a $15 fee simply to process the dispute argument.
And to be clear on the mechanism there, Shopify is largely passing down a network fee imposed by the issuing banks. But it still represents a hard cost for the merchant. And you only recover that $15 if you successfully win the dispute with compelling evidence.
Then there are shipping label adjustments. You weigh a package at your facility, purchase a label through the platform, and hand it to the carrier. But the source warns about post-shipment adjustments.
Yeah, this happens because carriers use dimensional weight, not just dead weight. When your package hits the carrier's automated depot, it runs across industrial scales and lasers.
Okay.
If your box is slightly larger or heavier than you declared, the carrier back charges Shopify, and Shopify quietly drops that adjustment onto your next invoice.
Wow.
If you ship 10 items a week, it's negligible. But the source explicitly notes that once a merchant scales past 500 labels a month, These micro adjustments turn into a genuinely painful line item.
Add in the Shopify tax fee, which takes a 0.35% cut of your U.S. sales once you pass $100,000 in a calendar year, and email overages that charge you $1 for every 1,000 emails sent past your plan's limit. It just never ends.
This is precisely why the source advocates for a ruthless quarterly discipline audit.
What does that look like?
As a merchant, you must open your billing tab every 90 days and subject every installed app to one question. Would I willingly sign up for this exact feature set today at this current price?
And if the answer is no,
If the answer is no, you uninstall it. Furthermore, you should actively hunt for apps offering usage-based pricing models. You want infrastructure costs that naturally scale down when your store traffic drops during off-seasons, rather than being locked into flat monthly rates that punish you during slow months.
that's great advice. Let's ground all of these abstract percentages and variable tolls into a concrete reality.
Good idea.
The source material builds a highly realistic model invoice to demonstrate exactly how these fees compound, and it provides a framework for auditing your own setup.
Let's walk through that model. Imagine a standard US-only e-commerce store generating $5,000 a month in revenue.
Okay, $5K a month.
They are running on the Grow plan. The marketing page dictates this costs $105 a month.
But the $105 is a fiction. When you factor in standard card processing fees for those orders, 3 essential apps at modest paid tiers, and an amortized domain name, cost meaning taking your $20 yearly domain fee and dividing it into your monthly mental model, the clean total jumps to roughly $316 a month.
Right.
The baseline reality is already triple the sticker price.
Now let's introduce the realistic operational complications we've spent this time dissecting.
Here we go.
Suppose this specific merchant is forced to use a third-party payment gateway because of their industry. That triggers the 2% penalty, adding a $50 surcharge.
Ouch.
Let's say 20% of their sales originate from the EU, triggering the currency conversion fee. That adds $15. They get hit with one fraudulent chargeback dispute, another $15.
That adds up fast.
And they are paying off a premium website theme in monthly installments. That adds roughly $25.
So when you compile those everyday complications, that exact same $5,000 a month business receives an invoice for roughly $420.
Yep.
That is 4 times the original budget. This proves why the source's 5-point checklist is vital for survival.
Let's go through them.
1. Audit your active staff seats and ruthlessly clear out dead accounts to avoid upgrade cliffs. 2. Audit your app stack quarterly.
Yes.
3. Confirm your payment gateway architecture to ensure you aren't bleeding revenue to third-party penalties. 4. Make an intentional mathematical decision regarding your international legal structure, choosing between standard markets or the managed merchant of record model based on your volume.
Exactly.
And 5, sit down and literally cross-check your actual invoice line by line.
And while executing that checklist, you should also pull the available savings levers. Switching from monthly to annual billing immediately shaves roughly 25% off the core plan fee.
That's a huge saving.
It really is.
Wow.
But the most underutilized mechanism is the pause and build feature.
Oh, the pause and build feature is an incredible architectural loophole for specific business models.
How so?
For just $9 a month, you can essentially place your store into a read-only state. Your administrative backend remains fully active, your theme and data are preserved, but the customer checkout is disabled.
Oh, that's really smart.
Right. If you run a strictly seasonal operation, perhaps you only manufacture Christmas decor or specialized summer camping gear, you do not have to pay the full platform tax during your 6-month off-season.
You just go dormant.
Exactly. You drop down to the $9 tier, preserve your data, and spin the checkout back up when demand returns.
This raises an important question for you, the listener, to confront today. When was the last time you actually scrutinized your platform invoice line by line?
Probably not recently enough.
Right. Not just glancing at the total amount automatically withdrawn from your corporate card, but actively questioning the itemized breakdown. You must forecast your infrastructure costs against your next strategic hire and your next 12 months of anticipated order volume.
You cannot forecast based on today's headcount, and you certainly cannot forecast based on a marketing page.
Definitely not.
The overarching takeaway is clear. This platform is an incredibly powerful engine that drives massive swaths of global commerce. But operating it efficiently requires active defensive management of your environment.
It demands that the merchants stop treating software as a static utility bill and start treating it as a dynamic financial ecosystem.
Absolutely. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final mind-expanding detail buried deep in the source's notes regarding the enterprise level Plus plan.
Oh, this is a good one.
We established earlier that the Plus plan carries a massive floor cost of $2,300 a month. But what happens when a brand scales to true enterprise levels?
Things change.
The source reveals a fascinating structural shift. Once a merchant hits roughly $800,000 a month in gross merchandise value, meaning the total dollar amount of sales flowing through the checkout, the fee structure quietly transforms.
It does.
It abandons the flat rate model entirely and becomes a 0.4% revenue share,
Yeah.
capped at $40,000 a month.
Wow.
I invite you to ponder that ultimate irony. The more wildly successful your business becomes, the more the platform shifts away from being a simple software vendor. It functionally evolves into an equity partner, taking a percentage of your total empire. So audit your invoices, understand your levers, and keep digging deeper.